In this Michael Jackson video, I am starting off by putting a lot of light colored foundation to my face, and as you see I am applying more than enough because I like this cream so much and a thick layer is very good. My BB cream foundation is better for under my eyes because I am very wrinkly down there, and it's very thick and creamy, and it puts a real nice covering layer that you can use to cover up wrinkles and thin skin. I'm also applying that above my lip, and then with a damp beauty blender I am going to dab everything into the skin. Now this is taking me a very long time, so I cut out a few pieces of the image because it's really taking me a lot of time. Now I'm starting to look like those white clowns. How do you call that? With the tear. Eh, can't remember the name. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. So, never mind. Oh, a Pierrot. Now I'm gonna take my translucent powder that is the greatest of all to put underneath my eyes, but it's such a little jar, so I only use that for my typical wrinkly zone, and for the rest of my face I will be using my big fluffy brush and my normal translucent powder. I am powdering this off very firmly because it's a thick layer of cream, and if there still is the tiniest bit of cream left, it's not okay. You cannot blend or shade on a creamy base. It has to be purely powdered. I think I am there. Yes. Ooh, soft. That's okay. Now, with a little bit of light, almost colorless eyeshadow, I am priming my lids, my brows, a little bit over the brows because I'm gonna outdraw them a little. And now I'm gonna try to map out where Michael's brows are. As you see, I'm often looking at a reference picture, but his brows are in that picture a bit different. So if you see me drawing two different brows, and not only just the left and a right one, if you see me drawing two brows and whoa, I'm so white all of a sudden. Well, his brows are a little bit crooked in this photo, so let's just make it that way on my face too. So first I'm taking a brown pencil, filling a little bit in, but I'm filling it in with a cream base and a small angled brush because that's a lot easier to make the lines more crisp, to get a more defined look to the brows. And filling in is also a lot easier with a brush. It's like painting on instead of using a pencil. And to do this, I always lean my elbow on the surface on which I'm working. This is a desk table actually, so it gives you so much more control and so much more definition to the work you do. So let's keep on painting brows, and try to get as close as possible to the shape of Michael's brows in this particular picture. Now as you see, I'm constantly correcting, getting higher, filling in, trying out how to get higher or lower. I'm constantly working on it. Now where my normal, how do you call that, side bangs or sideburns are, I am extending them because his go towards his jawline, and I want to use a little bit of my own hair to cover that area, but I do have to color in all the rest because my hair is not long enough for that. So I also put this line a little bit up higher towards the temples because his hair is really very close to the face, so it's a totally different type of hair than I have. But then with black powder and another angled brush, I'm gonna set the brows. It's not brown anymore that I'm using now, it is black, because his hair is very black, his brows are very dark too. So I'm doing my best to get as much as possible the look of his brows on my totally different face. And by the way, it's a transformation from female to male. That's always a bit hard to do. Now with normal white eyeshadow, I'm starting the highlights. Now this video is almost all about shading and highlights. There is constantly gonna be movement in lightness, darkness, shading, and of course, as I said, highlighting. And now I am taking some concealer because my own brow hairs are peeking out underneath the new drawn-ons, so I must cover them up, which is not working to my liking, but okay, I keep on trying to get them covered up. Go away, you hair. Hide. Yeah. Finally, now I'm gently tabbing on some white eyeshadow too to set that concealer and to hope that my hairs will stay in place. I only have about 5, but 4 of them have got to be in my way. So, as you see, I am still tabbing. Now I'm taking my Urban Decay Naked Palette number 2 and the color Tease. And I'm gonna start shading from the tip of the eyebrow to the tip of the nose. It's a very straight line and it goes to almost the complete tippy of the nose. But the shadow makes his eye sockets much deeper and much more masculine. So I'm trying to shade my eyes already on the sides, above the crease too, to make that typical darker shade of men. And then there is a line above his brows that goes to the temples. That line above the brows is for me a first time that I see it, and I never did that in a look before, but okay, if that's how it's in the picture, so I think I'd better follow the picture. Now, as you will notice, if you do a transformation like this, it is never going to be a blended out makeup like a normal female makeup is on your own face shape. So I gotta draw on lines that I normally don't have. This nose curve, of course, I do have, but I'm even taking a pencil to make these lines so thin to really recreate that tiny little nose tip and the shadows over the nose, the wings of the nose, or whatever is it called. And then again, that beautiful curve that he has from his brows to his nose. Then with my jumbo pencil in milk from NYX, of course, I am doing my waterline and going a bit below to make my eyes much bigger, because he's got the biggest round eyes, and his black eyeshadow has a strange outline on the outside. It goes up very high, almost into the crease, and then to the inner tear dot. It's a very, very strange way of having eyeshadow, but it's a typical Michael's look probably. Then to extend my eyes and to make his lower lash line that he also does in black, I go lower than the white, and then with a pen that you actually use on a tablet, I am using this as a smudging tool, as it has that round rubber soft tip. It's very handy to blend and to add a little bit of powder. It's totally different than a brush, but it works. For the nose, I am taking a small brush, of course, because that round tip would have been way too big for these thin lines. But to blend this very small area, I am adding always a little bit of that color tease from that Naked palette, Urban Decay palette number 2, and I am taking the slightest motions and very carefully blending it out to the sides. As you can see, I am taking that color from the Naked palette because I am now going to use that mirror. For the first time, I'm using an extra mirror, something that I never do, but I was trying it out to see up close where I am doing this shading, as my nose is not that big of a surface. And now I'm blending it out with my fingers to make it a little bit more smooth, but it will remain a very visible and dark shadow. And that's gonna be so with all features on his face. They will all be, how should I say, extended way too harsh, way too overdrawn, but that's what's gonna make me look a little bit like Michael Jackson. Now for blending, the easiest way is taking both fingers and blending the two sides as similar as possible, and again adding some color, trying to shade some more. Now to whiten that middle part, I'm going back to my jumbo pencil in milk, as I said, from NYX, trying to get these, the features of Michael Jackson. His nose is so small with a very cute upward tip, and above his brows he also has a white line in between the brows and that dark line. I am giving some highlight underneath the brows too, and it's very thin work all this. His face is so beautifully framed, so specifically lined. It's really a piece of art. Michael Jackson's face, many people hated it, but it was really a piece of art. He was so beautiful, even after his skin disease, and then he had his nose corrected with surgery and maybe his lips, I don't know, but he has these special features also on his chin. But I'm gonna chew this pencil because it's I gotta use a brush to get some more out. I always try to use a pencil sharpener on it, but that doesn't work. So now for the rest of his features, with that brush and white, I am giving highlights to all the lines that are gonna be darker, and again beneath the brow and lower in the middle part of the eye towards the crease, because he has some highlight going on there too. Now with the warmth of my finger, I'm gonna blend this all in, or out, whatever, no matter how you want to call it. I'm blending it away, not away, blending it out. Nah, who cares? Scraping out the last of that milk pencil, I am now gonna set it all with white eyeshadow and a big fluffy brush, especially the nose, so that the color on that bridge, and it wasn't smooth enough, but okay now, so that it all nicely stays in place. And his forehead, above the brows, again that nose, because I really want to be sure that it all stays. So yeah, I really want to define everything. Also, this lower part of his chin was wider. And now with Hoola bronzer, because that is a lighter and more chestnut color. I really don't know what to say or how to call it. It's more a lighter brown. So I'm going over all of the other shadows to make them softer, blend it out, more shadow-like, and then I get a phone call. It's good news. And I didn't realize that I was doing my makeup and that I was contouring while I was on the phone. So, yeah, I'm sorry for that. The specific lines of his cheekbone and his cheeks, I'm just doing that while I'm talking on the phone. Now, how idiotic or strange is that? So, I'm making that round shape beneath his cheekbone and making that line straight down the chin. Then the temples, they also have a lot of shading towards his forehead and to his hairline, and he really has that sunken in look. So I'm taking a more fluffier brush going along the hairline, and he has that little heart shape in the middle of his forehead, so I tried to do that too. Going to the other side and blend, 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 blend. Also, these lines I'm gonna soften down with this more fluffy brush and still with the Hoola bronzer. The jawline. After the jawline, the most specific sign of Michael Jackson is that little split he has in his chin, and then the shadings below the lip and faking kind of a mustache shine. Now for the final color, I am going to have to add gray, light gray and dark gray, to make his features more really Michael Jackson. So tapping my brush from the one color into the other and mixing them together, I am getting the best result. As you can see, I'm defining everything with this color now. And as far in the look as I am now, it's more checking out where you still have to adjust a little bit of lining and where you can add the tiniest little touch to make the changes that are necessary. Now for the split in his jaw, I am mixing a bit more of the dark gray. Now I'm putting my tongue against my cheek to really have the thickness of my own cheek to easier blend. Now look at my face, it's just like a balloon. Now with a fluffier brush, I am going after all that lining again to blend it out, to soften it out, and now I'm gonna take a brown and the darkest gray together to have the perfect shading color to define this all downwards a bit so that it's more blended, but that lines are still blank. Stupid box. Now with more of that brown, I'm going to the lower parts of his face and blending out, but I take a bigger brush too to even get more blending. But as you see, these lines of his face, the features are so very hard drawn onto my face. But as you will see in the final result, that is just what makes my face look like his, because I cannot change my own face into his. So still shading the temples, making my huge forehead smaller, and looking in the mirror, looking at the picture and constantly checking everything out. Then with my BB powder, I am setting everything, because now I hope I have achieved what I wanted to achieve. And to set it all now is actually the finishing step that I am doing. Still looking in the mirror. Now, his lips, they are a bit red. They don't have really much of an arch, so I'm making mine a bit straighter. And his corners go a little bit downwards, and his lips are wider than mine. Not thicker, but the mouth in its totality is wider than mine. So I'm gently blending that line with a red pencil to have the outline of his lips, but not to have a lip line like we normally would do for our own looks. So it's a bit hard to explain what I'm doing here. I'm lining my lips without lining my lips. Yeah, you'll see. You know what I mean, I hope. So these corners are really much further out, and now I am taking a lip gloss which is translucent, almost orangey translucent, but on the lips, from the warmth of the lips, it gets a little bit pinky. So it's a pinkish red that's very much like his. Now I am taking a rounded tapered brush and blending out the eyes because I still think it needs a little bit more black up higher on the outside. I'm still not happy with what I have created, so I'm constantly changing, adding, looking at the picture, trying to get the same result, which you never can, of course. Now, this black line has to come a bit lower, so I'm doing that again. And I keep on going, I keep on checking, I keep on changing, and I'm never happy, but okay. The jawline is done, but now to get a shade down the neck, as you see, I'm taking the darkest gray alone, and I'm blending out my entire lower chin area and where the man in the middle of their neck have that I don't know the name of it. So mixing, blending, touching up. I keep on touching up, as you see, as I already said, but I gotta talk this whole video full because my music wasn't allowed in many countries. That's all about copyright. Money has to go everywhere. Now you will see the result. Putting on my clothes and everything. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Here I am. I hope you like the result. I took a piece of a wig, made a clam on it, put it in my hair, and then placed on my black hat. I also thought my eyes weren't black enough, so I was adding black powder on the lower middle part, and I also added on the top of the eye, so now I'm more content with it. I know where I'm going now, so even after the final result is revealed, I'm still touching up because I just can't help myself. I have to be content. Now, the famous glasses. They're not the same as his are, but he had different ones. So, what do you think? Did I do my job good? Do it okay? Just let me know in the comments down below. I hope you'll be a bit kind to me because this was a very, very hard look to do. Now I wish you all peace for all people in the world, just like he would. So, showing my standing up version, I just can't help myself. I gotta do my moonwalk, but in my slippers it wasn't as easy as I had expected. Okay, here I am again. Ta-da! Now, that was a bit funny. So, I did a wave, but I'm not done yet. I wanna ask you, if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Leave some nice comments down below, and give me some thumbs up, of course. And from me, there's only one thing left to say, and that is my love for music and makeup is spread all over to you. And bye bye for now. Hope to see you in the next video.